Hey, Oliver Nino here, Spiritual Activator, and today I want to give you more tools that you can use for clearing negative energy, right? So again, I'm a big believer of, yes, we have to learn ourselves, use the tools that we have internally, but also use what nature has provided us, right? So when it comes to clearing and releasing energy, right? One of the things that that they talk about is using fire, right? And today we're going to talk about sage and Palo Santo, and just fire in general when it comes to using it to transmute energy. And transmuting energy to me is this process of turning something really dark, really heavy, like in a really low vibration, and you're neutralizing it. It's why if you look at a lot of cultures all over the world, there's a lot of fire burning ceremonies that they do, right? And for some it's ritualistic, like and I grew up in in the Catholic upbringing, and I remember when we would go to mass at certain times, they would have incense that they would be walking around with. And to me, when I've studied and looked at different cultures, different religions, different just belief systems, there's a lot that use fire for different reasons. So to me, I like using it for energy release or energy clearing. Energy release, right? And I think I've talked about this in an earlier video, right? Is one of the things that work really, really well for me and my wife, Mandy, is whenever at the end of the day, and we're trying to release energy, and there's somebody that you're thinking about, or you had an argument with, or you got an email, or they triggered you, and you're just thinking about them, they're thinking about you, and you just can't shake it off, and you feel like you're connected. One of the ways to sever that energetic connection, and again, when I say sever, that means it's not like they're gonna disappear from your life. What it means is that energy, that's attached, to you through this cord with them, gets severed energetically through fire rituals. So one of the things that we do is at the end of the day, we write down the names of people that we're attached to, set an intention, God, universe, higher power, whatever you believe in. I want to release this person's, energy from my field, my connection with them, and you burn it, and the act of burning it transmutes and dissolves that connection to where you're no longer absorbing their stuff, or they're no longer being given that ability to drain you of your energy or affect you, right? Mentally, emotionally, or physically. Because when we're connected to people, as you know, as empaths, again, energy affects people differently. Sometimes it affects you mentally, emotionally, physically, right? And you're carrying their stuff, or they're draining you of your energy, and you have very little of it, right? So that's one way of doing it. Another is through these two, right? So here's the thing, we have, again, innate abilities to clear our energy, right? And to me, I'm a big believer in learn the tools. If you don't have Palo Santo, you don't have sage, learn how to clear the space yourself. But when you have it, right, it's what nature has given us, then we have the tools that can use to amplify the process. We're not using our own energy to do it, and then there's also, an option for you, right? And sage and Palo Santo have been used for centuries, by native cultures to remove, negative energy, negative entities, right? To me, these tools, they help clear blockages, they help shift heavy energy in a room, and to me, it gives you a lot of benefits. Like a lot of times when there's a lot of energy in a room, we feel overwhelmed, we feel stressed because we're taking it on. So now we have, emotionally, we feel good. Sometimes when there's a lot of energy in the room, you just can't think. It's like you got mental fog, right? And it's just very, very hard to have clarity. So it brings you clarity. So there's a lot of different things that it can do for you. If you're having a hard time manifesting, it can be the space. It could be the space around you is dragging you down, draining you. Therefore, when you clear it, all of a sudden there's more energy. It's lighter now, then manifestation becomes easier, right? So here's how to use it. Like I would buy Palo Santo or sage. They can buy it in your crystal stores. You can get it online, right? And what I normally do is, first you light it, right? And these Palo Santo takes a while to light, and they typically fade out pretty quickly, right? So I'm lighting it, and you're seeing the smoke, right? So this smoke right here, it's clearing. So everywhere where the smoke touches, it clears the space, right? And there's different ways you can use this, and I'm going to go over them here, right? So one of the things, the most important thing to do is set an intention, right? So, for example, if you're clearing yourself, this can be something that you do, before stepping into your house, or if you have a call and it was intense, then you can kind of like clear yourself after an intense moment, or let's say you're stepping into a moment where you're having a conversation with a loved one and you're carrying stuff, from the previous interaction or from earlier on in the day, and you want to come, clear-minded, clear-hearted, then you do this. So setting an intention. So to me, it's like intentions are super, super powerful. You're like, God, higher power, universe, angels, whatever you believe in, please help me clear and release negative energies, that are in my field, right? And replace it with something positive. So to me, if I'm clearing myself, then I am lighting it up, right? And I'm going to show you the process of how I do it. And I set the intention first, right? And again, sage lasts longer as far as like the smoke. This one is, easily, it's just like you got to blow it a little bit, but I'm like going over my head, the chakras, the ears. I go through all the energy centers, like my entire body. I'm going over it to my legs and underneath my feet. I'm just letting the smoke, like really just touch parts of my body, like, and I'm like, just different areas. So I'm like top, left, right, arms, right, and then all the way down, legs, underneath the feet. And what it does is a quick cleansing. It's like a quick, just like cleansing of the energetic body. So to me, I've done it in the past to where, I've had routines. Like we talked about transitions, like, I think it's a few videos back. But in the past, I used to like, okay, I'm about to go into the house. I spend, time working, right? And I want to come to the house clean. So let me sage myself. And it came to a point to where you don't have to do it all the time, because you get so good at your practices to where your vibration is high, to where it's kind of like decreases over time. But to me, it's like, okay, if I'm going into the house and there's heavy energy in the house, because let's say I had a party or had visitors and their energy's there, then I might go ahead and walk through the house, with a sage or Palo Santo, and letting that clear it, right? As if I'm clearing the environment, like, I'm asking for a prayer. I'm like, God, higher power, universe, please help me remove and clear all the negative energy, in the environment, in my house, and replace it with positivity. And I'm walking around each room, and I'm really letting the smoke just clear all of it, right? So to me, that's like a very simple way of using. You can clear the space, you can clear yourself, right? And you can figure out which one you like. Some people have a preference. For me, they're very, very strong. I mean, we use sage, but I'm a big fan of Palo Santo, because to me, it's like I like the smell better. But they both do the same thing, right? So again, you can clear yourself. You can clear your kids. You can clear the house. You can clear places that are heavy in energy, right? Just to kind of clear the space, because the thing is, spaces hold energy, and energy stays stagnant, or they marinate in the space, and you can feel it when you walk in that space. You're like, oh wow, there's a lot of heavy energy in here. That's why it's super important, like, to be able to clear the space before you use it, especially if you're one to where you can just feel like, wow, I just don't, walking into the space, and all of a sudden you're disoriented, you're overwhelmed, you're feeling a lot of, of heavy emotions, or you can't really differentiate between what's yours and what's not. Then I'm like, I'm going to clear your space, right? So a lot of the times, signs that you need an energy clearing or a space needs one is, let's say you're feeling drained, you're feeling stuck, you're feeling anxious, you're feeling tense, you're feeling emotions that emotional roller coaster, right? Or you walk into a room and you just, feel energy in certain rooms, or you feel, like you have visitors that have heavy energy, and you just can tell they have heavy energy and they're in your space. And when they leave, you're like, okay, I got to clear that space, right? That can also happen. And a lot of times, to me, it's just a good practice of like, when you walk into a space, you should be able to eventually know of like, wow, this is a high vibrational space. I feel good. I feel uplifted. I feel clear. And it's good to know what that is. So when you experience the opposite, you're like, all right, there's something in this space, all right, to clear it. Okay? So to me, again, it's all about, when we're doing this, we're layering, right? I'm lighting the incense. I'm lighting the Palo Santo and sage. I'm walking around. I'm sending an intention, right? I'm layering in prayer and intention with the tools, because when you layer them, it has an amplified effect. It's stronger, right? It just works more when you start layering a lot of different things, right? And to me, it's one of the things to also, like, when you start doing this, what's going to end up happening is when you observe, let's say you do it for 7 to 14 days, you're going to start to build, what I call energetic awareness, spatial energetic awareness. Like your environment, you just know what the vibration is, and you're gonna get good at it. And when things change a bit, you'll know, because when you know what it's like for things to be clear, and all of a sudden something happens, and even if it's just a slight shift, and all of a sudden, like, oh no, it's not clear, you're able to tell, because now you're so in tune with energy, you're so in tune with what clear feels like, to anything outside of that, you're like, oh wow, it's something has to be clear, right? And again, to me, this is a practice that you get better with over time. It's important to stay open, stay adaptable, because energy shifts over time. And the thing is, what works now might be different later. Let's say there's a period of time where you're using this, and next thing you know, you get so good at it to where just your intention, just your prayer clears the room, and you don't even have to light this up anymore. And the intention does it, because again, at higher and higher vibrations, and with more practice, with energy, things evolve. Things that usually take, 1 week, 1 month, a year, 3 years, they happen, within seconds, minutes, or sooner, when you really worked on raising your vibration, and when you've mastered energy enough, because you keep practicing it over and over. Because when you keep practicing it over and over, it's a compounding effect. Like, you clear energy, therefore you have more clarity, therefore a lot of your energy is not getting drained, and you feel better. And if you have those days to where you're just having more clarity, you're feeling better, you're more energized, right? Then it compounds. You're manifesting more, your body heals faster, you're making the right decisions because you're clear, you're moving forward, you're experiencing momentum, you're no longer stuck, right? If you do it long enough, you start having progress, that turns into unstoppable momentum that gets you to the life that you want, that gets you to experience, everything you want and more, right? And it just gets better and better and better from there. Okay? And to me, it's all about having a lot of different tools to try. So you have it, at the end of the day, you have things to choose from, right? And again, like, one day you might like this, another day you might just be like intention, another day you might just use crystals, right? And you might use all of them. Like, you might be like, okay, I have crystal, I'm doing crystals, I'm doing incense, Palo Santo, and sage. I'm just doing it all, because for some, that's how, like me, that's how I learn. I just do it all and see what happens when I do it all. And typically, when I go all in and do a lot of different things, it just works, right? Because I'm leaving nothing, left to chance, right? So a lot of times doing everything works, and a lot of times you're like, this one thing works, I'm just gonna keep doing it, right? So to me, it's really, really powerful. And these two things are simple yet powerful tools, for energetic hygiene, for energetic health of yourself, of your environment, of your location. And to me, when you do it enough times, you're going to clear your space. It's going to elevate the frequency of your space, the vibration, and it has so many different benefits to where when you experience it, you're not going to want to go back. All right. So this is really, really powerful. So try it out for the next 7 to 14 days. Buy some, try it out, see how you feel before and after you do it, and see what it does when you do it consistently and it compounds. See how it affects your life. See how it affects your day-to-day, mental clarity, emotional well-being, physical health, and beyond. All right? That's about it for this video. Make sure you post pictures of you and what you got and what you bought, and let me know how it works out for you after you use it for a period of time. All right? I love you all, and remember, when you heal yourself, you heal others, and you also heal the world.